Viewers of our blog and our videos and our readers of Turquoise in America, parts 1, 2, and 3, will know how there are different looks of turquoise from the same mine. And I thought it would be fun to take a look at the different looks from one mine, Bisbee. Bisbee is my favorite turquoise. Maybe it's yours too. Also, there'll be different grades from the same mine. And we're going to look at the different looks and the different grades from Bisbee. So if we're looking at this photo, we're going to see all the stones that we're going to be looking at by the different grades. Now, when it comes to grade, I grade based on the turquoise grading system that I developed. And you can read about that on our blog at turquoiseinamerica.com to see how that grade is determined. Now, that grade is only for natural turquoise. About 20% of all turquoise will not require treatment of some sort to be used in commercial jewelry. And of that, about 15% will be mid-grade and high mid-grade, and about 5% high grade and above, with only 1% at very high grade and 0.1%, that's 1/10 of 1%, that we would consider the very top gem grade. So as you see here, we start on the top, and as you go around clockwise, you're going to see the different grades. We're going to look at each one of those. So people ask, well, aren't there different qualities or grades of treated turquoise? And there certainly are, but it's very difficult to apply a turquoise grade because what are you grading? Are you grading the stone or are you grading the treatment? And many times some very pretty treated turquoise will be based on the lowest grade of chalk that has been infused with epoxy polymer and perhaps even some color included in that. So this is only grading for natural turquoise. If we look at our first stone here, we see a mid-grade, which will have a turquoise grade of 74. And you see this is a very nice, very pretty light blue with very little matrix in it. If we go on and we look at the next sample, the next selection, we have a high mid-grade. And this is starting to look a lot more what you would consider of a Bisbee blue, a Bisbee look. And that has a turquoise grade that I assigned of 76, high mid-grade. The next one we see is we're getting into the high grade. And that has a turquoise grade of 84. Now here we're starting to see the introduction of web. And there are different webs involved with Bisbee and with several different mines. You have what we have a water web, which is kind of a very silky, smooth sort of webbed look. We have a red web, a darker web look in that. And here we're seeing just the start of that red web look in Bisbee. We're starting to see a more pronounced Bisbee blue. When we go on to the next is also high grade, and here we see a pair. Boy, wouldn't these make a nice pair of earrings. This has turquoise grade as well of 84, again with red web, but not that sort of deep, dark brown red that we see in the highest grades of Bisbee. The next one is very high grade, this with a turquoise grade of 90. I could have graded this as a gem grade, but for the sake of comparison, we'll say it's very high grade. And now we're seeing a very desired look with Bisbee called smoky Bisbee. And you see this kind of very wispish look. The blue is kind of a very smoky. It's not nearly as distinct. The webbing there, the matrix, is kind of blending in with the color. Very desirable look called smoky Bisbee. Finally, we get to the next one, which is our gem grade with a turquoise grade of 92, which has that very desirable, it's kind of a dark reddish brown matrix that we associate with the highest grades of Bisbee in a very distinct matrix, very glossy, hard finish on this, taking a really wonderful polish. So we see the different looks from the same mine of Bisbee and also the different grades. Now, as the grading goes up, the increase in price is not an arithmetic. An arithmetic scale would be you would have an equal rise in price for each increase in grade. And that just doesn't happen because, as we see, the rarity increases so much for each grade. So we really see an exponential increase. So we may see for mid-grade, for Bisbee, a nice mid-grade, we may see that at $10 a carat or even under that per carat. It would double as it goes to high mid-grade, and from there it really increases to where for the gem grade Bisbee now we're really at about $200 a carat for that. Now keep that in perspective. In 1905, the highest grades of turquoise were selling for about $15 to $20, $25 a carat, which today would be well over $300 a carat. So the higher grades of turquoise remain a relative value in the marketplace. And if you're interested in high-grade turquoise or turquoise at all, I highly encourage you to, if your budget will allow it, to really focus on these higher grades because they're so rare. And in the instance of Bisbee, we're not going to find any more of this grade, or very little. It will just be whatever is going to come out of collections. So I hope you've enjoyed this look at different looks of Bisbee.